Hi everyone, Ashley here and welcome to the Penguin Palace Stamps YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing how to make this cute lucky card featuring some ink blending with a focal point in the middle, which is a really neat technique that you can apply to a lot of different cards. So without further ado, let's get into it. I wanted my ink blending to be in different shades of yellow, so I've got actually 4 shades of Distress Oxide at the top of the screen there, but I only ended up using 3 of them. So I started with Squeezed Lemonade, which is the lightest shade, so I recommend whenever you're doing this technique, pick a really light shade to start as your inside ink. And what you do is that you just blend it out in a circle or an oval shape, leaving a blank section in the middle of your card front. I'm just using those foam applicators here to apply the ink onto some nice paper for ink blending. I'm using Strathmore Bristol Smooth, but you can use any paper that you like to use for ink blending. So the first step is really to just ink blend in a circle, again leaving that center section open. So that's where your focal point will be, so that's where you want no ink. So then I'm taking my middle shade of yellow, and in this case I'm using Mustard Seed, but whichever color you choose, just choose a middle shade that you can blend. And I'm just blending it around the edges, a little bit outside from where the inner color was. And I like to go back and forth, as you can see, kind of going back and forth between light and medium to make sure that they get a nice blend. I'm then applying the darkest shade right on the outside, so again kind of going around in a circular shape, but making sure that you're sticking to the outer edges of your paper. And in this case I'm using Fossilized Amber for that nice dark yellowish, almost orange tone. It's like a really nice burnt yellow almost. And again then going back and forth between the middle and dark to blend those, and then finally adding another kind of layer of light just to get a final blend. So the key is really to just blend back and forth between light and medium, between medium and dark, between dark and medium, and then between medium and light. Just keep blending, and then finally your colors will blend together so perfectly that you won't see any edges. I wanted to add a layer of ink splatter to this because I really love how it gives that nice kind of shiny, shimmery effect. But I knew that I didn't want any of the ink splatter in the middle of the card where the focal point is. I wanted that to just be plain. So I'm just taking a piece of plain white paper here, this is just normal printer paper, and I'm just roughly cutting out a mask. So just an oval shape, then I'm going to just adhere temporarily into that focal point center of the card front. And this will block any ink splatter from hitting that piece of paper behind it. So the focal point center of the card won't have any ink splatter on it. I then have my set of watercolors on the left there, and I'm using a Gonzai Tomby Pearl watercolor set, and I'm picking up the yellow color because I just kind of wanted it to be a tone-on-tone splatter. But if you're doing this at home, you could choose any color you like and have it be any type of splatter you want. I'm just mixing some water right into the paint pot there and mixing it in with a paintbrush to get that pigment into the water. And the less water you put in, the more pigment you'll get out. But you do want to make sure that you do add at least enough water to generate enough paint for the splatter. I'm then taking the watercolor paint that I made with the water and putting it onto an ink block and then flicking it onto my paper with a paintbrush. This creates kind of that nice like random splatter effect that is really beautiful. I did that a couple times just to have some extra splatter, and this is the result you can see here. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but I'm going to pull off that mask now and you can see how the focal point has been left completely blank and you just get the beautiful splatter all around on the ink blended edges. So now that I've finished the background, the next step is to color in the images. For this card, I'm using these really adorable images from the Lucky Break Penguin Palace stamp set. This set is really cute. It actually comes with more images than I'm using here, but for this one I'm using the casino machine, which is shaped like an adorable bear, which is really cute, so I just used some shades of light brown to color him or her in. And then it comes with this cute little jumping character that looks like he's jumping for joy at winning the jackpot. It also comes with a whole bunch of little icons that you can place into the casino machine, and I've already gone ahead and pre-stamped them in, so I did the 3 lemons and the 3 cherries. But you can see that I also stamped out a bunch of extras kind of around the side, so you can also have some number 7s or some little grapes, as well as some coins that are sort of jumping out, which looks like they're sort of jumping out of the machine, which is really cute. So I'd actually stamped out all these extra images that I thought I would add kind of scattered around the card, but I didn't end up using them. as you could probably see from the card thumbnail, but that's okay. Whenever I do this and I stamp out extra images that I don't end up using, I just keep them. I put them in a little Tupperware container, and eventually they all add up and I end up making some sort of card with all the extras. So there's not much coloring left, but there is a bit, and I'm going to let the background music play while I complete the coloring here. And feel free to skip ahead in the video if you want to see the rest of the card without watching any more coloring. Okay, so now that all the images are colored, I decided I wanted to add the sentiment onto the front of the card directly just by stamping it right on the card front. So I've just pulled it out of the stamp set there, and I'm putting it onto a clear acrylic block. And the sentiment that I'm using from this set, it comes with a few, but the one I'm using is "May the odds be ever in your favor," which I don't know about you guys, but for anyone who's seen the Hunger Games, it really gives me a Hunger Games vibe, which is a bit funny, but it also kind of works for like a good luck card or just sort of best wishes, which I like. So I used some purple tape to mask off the second half of the sentiment because I knew I wanted to divide it into two lines. So I inked up just the first half, and I'm kind of figuring out where I want to put it, and finally I'm going to choose to put it down at the bottom of the card there. So the first part is just "May the odds be," and then I will stamp the second half in the same way. So I'll mask off the first half, ink up the second half, and then stamp that down. So that's the "ever in your favor." So then I kind of just put them at a bit of an angle towards each other just to give it a bit of visual interest. So now it's time to just put the card together. So I'm just adding some foam squares onto the back of my stamped, colored, and cut images there, and this will give them a little bit of dimension as I adhere them down to the front of the card. And by the way, I already went ahead and glued down that card front onto a card base. I just used plain white paper for the card base, and I elevated that onto some fun foam as well. The last stage, just to add a little bit of extra sparkly detail, is to add a few sequins. So I picked some clear sequins and arranged them in almost a haphazard way just to look like they're randomly sort of placed on the card. And there you have it! That is the final card for today. I think the focal ink blending technique is super versatile. You can use it with almost any stamps that you have. So no matter which stamps that you have, and no matter what the stamp or style of the stamp is, you can do this focal ink blending and have the stamps really pop. So thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more, please go ahead and visit the Penguin Palace Stamps Instagram page or my personal Instagram page. Both are linked down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!